AI is transforming the way we design and build, and there's no better person to help us understand where it's headed than Dietzen. Aaron is the Senior Product Content Manager for the Global Demand Center at Trimble, better known as the SketchUp guy. With years of experience in design software for the residential construction industry, he understands firsthand how technology shapes the way we work. Today, he's here to break down AI's role in architecture, design, and beyond. This video is sponsored by the Mediq BIM extension. Mediq's foundation, floor, wall, and truss plugins make it easy to create precise, structurally sound models right inside of SketchUp. More on Mediq later. For now, let's join Aaron as he presents the past, present, and future of AI.
A few months ago, Mike and I were talking. I actually reached out and offered to bring socks. And he asked if I'd be interested in talking to, and I'm like, yeah, I do that. I talk. So sure, yeah, throw me up there and let me know what you would like me to talk about. And he said AI. So I'm like, all right, seems a little weird, but I went home and dusted off my old copy of Adobe Illustrator, put some slides together. And then I heard him say artificial intelligence and scrambled and threw something together last night. All right, so yeah, so what I want to do is give you guys kind of, not everybody knows where our industry is with AI, where it was with AI, that sort of thing. So this is not this afternoon, like Mike said, we'll be looking at diffusion and we'll go in and see how SketchUp works with AI, that kind of thing. We'll get more hands-on then. This is tended more of an overview than a hands-on thing. So here's kind of things I want to just break this down into 5 points. And we're just going to run through kind of this kind of timeline, these topics. So I'm going to hop right in. So first off, who am I? Like Mike said, some people know who I am, but just give you a quick rundown of why you should listen to anything I say. My title, I am the Senior Product Content Manager for the Global Demand Center for Trimble AECO. Did that one breath, I had to practice last night. No, so a lot of people call me a SketchUp guy. I've been making videos on SketchUp for most of the last 8 years. My history is actually, I have a background in software design for software for the residential design industry. So I worked at a company where we made residential architectural engineering software. We did component design, load transfer, member sizing, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that falls between where the creative architecture happens and the hands dirty construction happens, that was where our software sat. We had a group that actually used the software, like a design services group, and I got to spend a lot of time in there and learn about product design. So I'm not actually an architect, I'm not an engineer. I spent a bunch of time learning about this stuff practically, and yeah, have been talking about it for a while and spent the last 9 years working at SketchUp, and had an opportunity to, advocate for software in that industry. So yeah, we'll just hop right in and start talking about the history of AI in our industry. So when I started putting this together, I started seeing some similarities in the way AI is coming up and some other technology that have come through. I did want to note that our industry, when I say our industry, this is all specific to, I'm thinking of like design, build, construction, from architecture to building. Like I said, that's kind of the spot that we're all kind of falling. Engineering kind of pops its head in there usually. So something I've noticed in, I hate to admit it, but like 30 years in this industry of technology in this design build industry is that we are slow to change. We don't like adopting new technology. I remember training people on software, and literally I'd have like 40-year-old dudes going, oh, I do it the way my dad taught me, and he did it the way his dad taught me, and that's what they do. And that's proven. That's why we don't want to change it, because it works. Software's changed a lot too. The idea of digital plans. I remember it was probably about the time I've been able to work with Jay years and years, or probably trained Jay, years and years ago. And the idea of plans that weren't on paper or weren't blueprints, that's how old I am, is crazy, but now it's kind of commonplace. You can actually go out with an iPad or laptop and look at your plans, and that's not too weird. Rendering's another thing too. Rendering, we all embrace rendering. It's awesome. I can view my building before it's built. But you used to have to send your model away, your image away, overnight to get it rendered, which meant if something was wrong, you'd come in the morning, shit, got to start again, send it back out again, and that's how rendering worked. So that's now commonplace. Hit render, 30 seconds later, see if it looks good or not, make a change, do the next one. Software's more accessible. Software as a service is a standard. So stuff has changed for sure. And we've become more accustomed to changing for technology in our industry, which is good because this is a big change happening right now. And my thing that I was looking at it is I see some parallels between AI and BIM.
The Mediq BIM extensions make it effortless to create precise, structurally sound models right inside of SketchUp. With just a few clicks, you can generate accurate foundations, fully framed walls, add doors and windows, and even complex trusses. Every parameter is fully editable before or after creation, so you can easily refine and adjust your designs as your project evolves. Once your model is complete, load the Architect Mediq drawing set to seamlessly integrate with my ConDoc Tools extension. Instantly generate plan, section, elevation, and perspective scenes, then export them to layout as fully detailed construction drawings. With Mediq and ConDoc, building an accurate model and producing precise documentation has never been easier. The Mediq tools also let me create construction detail mockups, which I can slice using the ConDoc section tool. Apply a CAD detail style, send it to layout, explode it, and gain complete control over hatches and line weights. You might even use a section perspective to blend the best of both 2D and 3D graphics. Click the link in the description to see how the Mediq BIM tools can supercharge your workflow.
So I just want to run this down real quick. This is not, well, actually I should start right here. We'll go disclaimer. This is not Trimble talking right now. This is nobody from Trimble Architecture and Design. This is Aaron Dietzen talking, and I'm going to talk about some thoughts, my experiences, what I see and how I see this, and what we can take away from what happened with BIM and how we got through that. Okay, so back to it. How is AI like BIM? So let me just run through a couple things, the main points that I remember of BIM coming in. Now remember, BIM is a thing that started in the 70s, right? That was when the concept of BIM happened. Now it's pretty commonplace, but the 70s were a long time ago. That's not a shot at anybody either, by the way. I'm just saying, like, in the grand scope of time. All right, so the first thing we heard about BIM is we need it. I don't know how we have gotten through the thousands of years of building structures without BIM, but we can't keep doing it. We got to have BIM. And that was the message that came across primarily from a software manufacturer specifically. We were told that we got to jump on now or be left behind because our competitors are all going to use BIM. And if we don't use BIM, we're going to be left in the dust and they're going to make all the money. They're going to get all the jobs. It's going to change our industry. Positions are going to change. People are going to go away. We're going to have these new things called BIM managers. And all this stuff is going to be different. We're going to have a totally different landscape than where we work now. And then finally, it's going to improve what we do. BIM's going to make everything better. Better quality, faster, better information. Everything's going to be better. Our buildings are all going to be better because of BIM. We can talk at lunch if you guys want to argue with this, or like if I missed a point, let me know. But I looked at this and I just kind of went, I kind of feel like a similar message is coming across right now, right? So we have this thing called AI, and this is not disparaging. I'm just setting the stage right now. We're hearing all the time, yeah, we need AI. This is the next evolution in how we do anything, right? So again, stay specific to our industry, but AI is going to make us better, faster, stronger. It's going to be better with AI. We need to have it. And if we don't start using AI, our competitors are going to use AI, and we're going to fall behind. I remember hearing a story early on when ChatGPT came out about lawyers, right? And everybody's worried, oh, ChatGPT is going to replace lawyers. And somebody who was intelligent and rational said, no. What's going to happen is lawyers who use ChatGPT are going to replace lawyers who don't. So it's the idea of adoption as opposed to AI is going to take over. We are all agreeing and already seeing changes to our industry, right? BIM took a while, AI much quicker. We're already seeing those changes. and it's going to improve what we do. Again, something we're already seeing. We're seeing that that is actually true. So how is AI different from BIM? Like I said, I see a lot of parallels, but I think that in a lot of ways this AI coming in is a much better situation than the way BIM came in. I think BIM was a primer, and now AI is set to make a lot of changes. So first thing, like I mentioned, it's coming faster. So AI started doing its thing around 2010 or so say 14 years ago. And as of right now, based on polls, about 40+% of architects are using AI in their workflow today. Another 15% over half of the architects polled said that they do plan to implement it now if they're not already. So in the near future, more than half of architects do plan to use AI. So remember, BIM, 1970s, it was 40 years before they were at 40% of market penetration. So 40% of users, of people in our industry using BIM, that took 40 years to get there. AI has done that in 14. So it's coming a lot faster than BIM was. We have more options. So again, I don't want to spend too much on history on BIM, but there was a big company that was really pushing, maybe co-opted the word BIM, you could say, and they pushed their solution as BIM. We see more options in AI than we ever had with what BIM was supposed to be. The number of options have doubled in the past couple of years for how you can use AI. So AI, when we're talking about, there's a few main engines that are the AI engines, how they're leveraged into products. We have a lot of options. If you use any Adobe products, you're probably, whether you know it or not, using AI because they're implementing it into a lot of their features already. AI is a simpler tool to implement. So if you're going raw, I'm plugging into an AI engine, I'm going straight to ChatGPT, I'm straight into Stable Diffusion, and I'm going to make my own thing out of it, there's turnaround there. If we're talking about implementing an existing solution using AI, the nice thing about AI is it has simplified user interface. A lot of times input goes in, output comes out, and then we got a couple sliders in between. So the implementation versus setting up an entire VDC department, it's going to be a lot quicker, and it's going to stick with that coming in faster theme. And then finally, this is my own personal opinion, I believe it has a lot more potential. I think that what we can do with AI in the long run hasn't even been discovered yet. I think there's more possibility with AI than we've ever seen with really any technology coming into our industry. All right, so let's take a quick poll. Hands up, who likes AI? All right. Sorry, I had to get a Skynet reference in there somewhere. So I did want to throw out some numbers. So Chaos, you guys know the company Chaos who does V-Ray, Enscape. They did a big poll of our industry and talking about who's using AI, what everybody thinks about AI, and it was really pretty cool numbers. So one of the ones I mentioned before was architects, over 40% are using it now. They said in the next 2 years, how many people are gonna be using it if you're not now, and that jumped to almost 70%. So most architects who aren't using AI now are thinking about how they're gonna implement it. 75% of the interviewees said that they believed AI had the power to change not just their designs, but the whole industry. So they see this we're recognizing this as a change that's gonna make things different. 67% polled said they were happy with the quality of the images they were generating for early in the workflow. So conceptual drawings, that kind of thing, they thought AI was good enough. Reading between the lines there, I think for final deliverables there's a little bit more work to be done, but for that first cut, like visualization, here's what your building could look like, they're finding what AI can put out right now, not in the future, is good enough for that work. 88% of interviewees said that they had more efficient workflows, turned around work quicker, thanks to the AI they had already implemented. So just a quick idea of that positive impact that AI is already having. 51% interviewed did say they had concerns about jobs. How are jobs going to look? This was a very vague response. because in the presentation I watched, they did talk about jobs changing, not necessarily going away, responsibilities changing, not that architects are going to disappear and AI is going to take over, like I said, with the lawyers, but things like visualization. You know, right now we have entire visualization houses, and companies are totally based on just taking models or concepts and making pretty pictures out of them, viewing them in new ways. That's going to pivot. That's going to change. Doesn't mean those companies are going away, but they'll be changing how they do things as well. Some of that work can be brought in-house. And 86% of interviewees think that this will play a significant role specifically in architecture. So it's a really cool poll. If you go onto Chaos's website, they have a bunch of webinars, and you can find the one that they did on AI. It's worth checking out if you guys have questions about this. They went a lot deeper. It's their data, so they deserve it. But yeah, it's good information. All right, so where are we with AI right now? So first thing, what are we doing with AI? And this is, again, industry. We'll talk specifically about SketchUp in just one second. The big thing, of course, is rendering or visualization. So we're taking our models, our 3D geometry, or our 2D drawings, and we're going deeper, making them look more presentable using AI. We are writing things, presentations, values, ads, that kind of stuff. AI is helping us to do that in our industry. We're searching for information. I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you go to Google and type something in, that first block that shows up is AI doing a summary of the top results and telling you what it found. That's just showing up, and that's the kind of stuff where it's going to start showing up more and more in life, I think. And then, of course, I put dreaming down here because we use the term outside of the box thinking, and I think a lot of times the box is that construct that we have around ourselves about what's possible, what we should think about, what we shouldn't. AI doesn't have that. It's taken all the thoughts from all over the world, and it lets us think about things, think about designs, think about how things can be presented without those structures of society that we work inside of. So right now, a lot of the AI use we have is information in, information out, like I said before. We tailor a prompt, right? And we give that to AI, and it says, okay, based on that prompt, here's some information I think you want. And that's how kind of all this stuff works. So AI in SketchUp, currently, we have a couple things that we have available today. One is, of course, Stable Diffusion hooked up to SketchUp for visualization. We call it SketchUp Diffusion. That's marketing, in case you guys didn't catch that. I didn't name any of these products. But visualization, great way to take some words, your prompts, and a SketchUp model and see how it could look. We'll spend time, like I said, we got an hour this afternoon where we're going to go through and actually practically run that together and get some tips on how to get the most out of that. AI is inside of our 3D warehouse search. So if you've seen 3D warehouse, it is awesome and crazy all at once. There's millions. I think last check is pushing 4 million models available for download on 3D warehouse. Finding exactly what you need can be a chore. So one of the things we're doing is we're leveraging AI so you can bring an image of the thing you want to find, drop it into 3D warehouse, and it'll find models that most closely represent the image. And that's all done using AI. Scan data from the iPad scan. We were talking, something that came up yesterday. Scan to design inside of iPad. When you do scan your model, it goes through and we use AI to peruse the surfaces in your model and make them into things that get tagged properly. So when you do a scan with Scan to Design, you end up with tags for the walls, the ceiling, the floor, the windows, the doors, and you can automatically tag them or turn them on and off, have control over them. And then finally, if you guys do use SketchUp for iPad, we have this thing called Auto Shape, where you use the pencil to draw a quick little doodle shape, and it recognizes those shapes, and it replaces them with either raw geometry or live components. So this is what we're doing right now. Which, of course, begs the question, well, what's next? And this is where I get to speculate, because I have a podium. So up until now, we've got this thing called AI, and we've taken it and we've kind of wedged it into existing workflows, existing ways of thinking. Like I said, we have that input, output way of dealing with AI where we kind of treat it like a little black box that we do that. We put data in, we get data out. And that's not, I'm saying we, that's humans, that's not just SketchUp, that's not just design build industry, that's how the world is using it. The cool thing is that as we figure out how to use the next generations of AI, we're going to have AI to help us decide what that is. So we don't know exactly what the next round of AI is going to look like because we haven't figured it out. But as we build it, I think we're going to be building it with the existing AI, and it's going to help us, again, with that dreaming, thinking outside of the box. We're going to create solutions that we haven't even thought of now. What does that mean for our industry? I don't really know, like, just to be totally honest. It's going to be exciting to watch, it's going to be exciting to see, and I'm hoping that you guys are a big part of it. Embracing what we have currently for AI, helping us, like specifically SketchUp, to make it better by giving us feedback, being part of our labs, being part of the beta program, being part of the forum. Let us know what you think. If you have other ideas, let us know that. If you are manufacturing or already creating extensions, figuring out where you can put AI into it, that's going to be awesome. So that's a brief 20-minute overview of my thoughts on AI. So I think that brings me to my thank you slide. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Big thanks to Aaron for a reassuring take on AI. There's a lot of hype and even some hysteria around this topic. But by starting to use AI now, even in small ways, you can position yourself ahead of the curve. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the recordings from the 2024 SketchUp 3D Summit. Want to experience it live? Click this link for details on the 2025 SketchUp 3D Summit in Denver next June. You can catch me, Aaron, and at least a dozen other SketchUp experts in person. It's going to be a blast. Or check out my latest upload here. It's a must-see. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.